Hello, I'm John. I used to play with my partner, Paul.
I'm Paul. I used to play with my partner, Art.
I'm Andy. I used to play with my partner, Claudine.
You know Andy Williams, one of the most beloved singers of all time. At least you think you know him. Of course, you know the exquisitely smooth voice.
Moon River.
You know the 18 gold and 3 platinum albums. You probably have one of the over 40 million records he's sold worldwide.
Dear heart.
And everyone remembers his classic TV series. But the life of Andy Williams, that's a story you don't know. Andy survived and thrived for more than 60 years, constantly reinventing himself to meet the challenges of an unforgiving industry. He began singing in the church choir and later raised his voice for a grieving nation. He started with nothing, achieved stardom, endured personal tragedy, but Andy always found a way to make his voice heard.
The days of wine and roses.
Andy Williams, I think we'll have to declare your voice a national treasure.
There are places that make us who we are. Wall Lake, Iowa, with its solid Midwestern family values, is such a place. It was in this house on December 3rd, 1927, that Howard Andrew Williams was born.
Well, Wall Lake is a little town, 749 people. That includes the cemetery.
There were no roads, it was all gravel, no stoplights. I think there was one stop sign.
It's like living in a big family because everybody knows everybody and, well, it's just fun.
Jay Williams had to work 2 jobs to support his family. With wife Florence, he raised 3 boys before Andy, Bob, Don, and Dick. A daughter, Janie, arrived soon thereafter.
I remember also sitting around the piano in this little house in Wall Lake and singing hymns because my father and my mother and my 2 older brothers were the choir in the Presbyterian church.
And then Dick said he wanted to start singing, so he joined us, and then Andy popped in, and so we had 4.
That's how we started singing together, the Williams brothers.
Jay Williams was a man with a dream. Shortly after hearing his sons harmonize, he became convinced they had a future as professional singers.
Who's the guy in Death of a Salesman? What was his name? Willie Loman. He was the Willie Loman. He lived his life through us.
Jay encouraged, trained, and nurtured his sons. The brothers sang at home, in school, at church, and for a while, to pay off a family debt.
We had a little brother named Buddy who died when he was 2 years old. And my 3 brothers and me, the Williams brothers, sang in a funeral parlor for weeks to pay for the funeral of my little brother. Every day after school, we'd come to this funeral parlor and go in the back door, and we'd sing hymn. And hear these people, you'd hear them weeping, and it was just terrible. So I don't like singing at funerals.
In 1936, Jay moved the family to the big city of Des Moines. He arranged an audition for the brothers at the largest radio station in the state, WHO.
We were so frightened. I thought I was going to turn to stone. I've never been so frightened in my life. And we weren't very good.
The Williams brothers did not pass the audition, and it appeared as if Jay Williams' big gamble had failed. But the Williams boys would not be discouraged. For the next 6 months, they rehearsed whenever they could. Their hard work was rewarded. After a second tryout, they were made the stars of a radio show, broadcast live every morning before school.
And Andy, because he was so good as a child, he had a beautiful voice. He sang the solos.
My mom, I love her. My mom, you'd love her. She's my Madonna, my
know more mother songs than anybody. I must have sung hundreds and hundreds of other songs. We ran out of mother songs.
Dreaming of bigger and better radio opportunities, the Williams clan moved to Chicago and later Cincinnati. The brothers' collective paycheck doubled to $50 a week, enough to support the entire family. Jay quit his job to manage the boys full-time. WLW Cincinnati was the most powerful radio station in the world. It was here that the Williams brothers attracted their first sponsor.
It starts a bong, 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 bong. It's time to shine.
So shine your shoes and you'll wear a smile. Shine your shoes and you'll be in style.
Sun shines east and the sun shines west. Griffin polish shines the best.
Some folks are not particular how they look around the feet, but if they wore shoes upon their heads, they'd make sure their shoes look neat.
So keep your shoes shined all the time. All the time is the time to shine. When you hear this familiar chime.
Bong, 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 bong. Everybody gets that, it's time to shine.
In 1943, with the same blind faith and audacity that forged a radio career, Jay Williams drove the family west to take on a new challenge.
And he told us that we were going out to Los Angeles and be in the movies.
He somehow finagled a thing and got us a recording with Bing Crosby. And, oh, we were in awe and frightened to death, trembling with our arms around each other.
It was thrilling for us because he was our hero. There was a number called Swingin' on a Star, and they needed somebody to sing it with him, and we were given the opportunity to do it. And it turned out to be a good record, sold a lot of records.
Working with Bing Crosby brought the brothers an opportunity to realize their father's dream of silver screen stardom.
We made some movies. We were in about 6 or 7 movies. Always as a quartet, around a piano. You know, they were having a party of young kids. We'd be singing.
World War II did what nothing else could: break up the Williams brothers. Bob was drafted into the Army, and Don and Dick enlisted in the Merchant Marine. 16-year-old Andy, too young to serve his country, was left to fend for himself.
I sang in chorus calls at MGM. And I sang on Harvey Girls, Good News, Till the Clouds Roll By. I can still sing my part in Harvey Girls. As he came across the country, lickety split go, and 90 miles an hour, fit to be tied, do 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 do. When you go traveling, that's not for you. You know, I remember all those parts. I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember what I did in 1946.
Andy lived at home with his parents, went to high school, and sang with other groups. In 1946, the 4 Williams brothers were reunited in Hollywood. But the entertainment landscape had changed. They could not possibly have imagined what would come next.
Dick Williams, Don Williams, Bob Williams, and Andy Williams. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
By 1947, 18-year-old Andy Williams and his brothers had sung on record with the legendary Bing Crosby and appeared in several movies. But after World War II, the job offers dried up, and their future was in serious doubt. Until they were contacted by a singing, dancing, and songwriting ball of fire.
From being under contract to MGM, we met Kay Thompson, who was the vocal and choral director of MGM.
She used to work with Judy and Lena Horne, and just, you know, taught them the routines, and a lot of them copied her, really.
It was at a time when the movies were sort of in the doldrums, and she said, let's get out of this and do a nightclub act.
It was this brainchild of Kay's and Bob Alton's that we would do like a musical review. And nothing like that had really been done before in clubs.
Bob Alton was a great choreographer at the time. He did the choreography.
What they did was they employed the movie techniques of singing and acting and dancing all at the same time. And with the movement that Bob Alton gave us, it was tremendously difficult, physically. And it took us a long, long time to learn how to do it and not collapse.
After 4 grueling months of rehearsal, Kay Thompson and the Williams brothers unveiled their act at the El Rancho in Las Vegas in August of 1947. 3 months later, they were ready to show themselves to a tough showbiz crowd at Hollywood's hippest and hottest supper club.
Ciro's was magnificent, and mobbed inside with stars. Everybody wanted to see them.
Can I describe Kay Thompson and the Williams Brothers? It was like lightning in a bottle.
Hello, 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 and howdy do. How've you been, and hoop-de-doo, and the big fat western howdy.
And they never stopped.
It was so hard that when we'd come off stage, Bob could wring his suit. It was wet, just completely wet.
It was the most inspired thing I have ever seen in my life. The way they did this tight harmony and these songs, and they moved and how they danced and did everything.
She can swan, yay, we give you the one and only Kay Thompson, Kay Thompson, Kay Thompson, Kay Thompson. Hello, hello.
It was like the finest watch you can imagine. I mean, everything was precision. And it just blew everybody away. Nobody had ever seen anything like that.
The Williams brothers went on tour with Kay Thompson, playing to sophisticated audiences in the finest clubs throughout America. This took them away from the guiding hand of their father. Kay Thompson now mentored the brothers, Andy in particular.
She just thought that Andy had the most wonderful quality, of which he indeed does. I mean, he has a wonderful, wonderful instrument and great sound.
She sort of took him under her wing and taught him the ropes, taught him what to do and how to do it.
And I think that professionalism and that perfectionism of Kay's stayed with Andy.
After several years on the road, Kay Thompson decided it was time for a break. So, in the fall of 1950, Andy, now 23, stepped out on his own in the cast of a TV series broadcast live from New York.
The College Bowl, starring Chico Marx, Andy Williams, and Joan Holloway.
Hi, Chico.
Hi, Chick.
Hi, Chico.
Hey, what are you kids are doing here? You're supposed to be out to have a good time at tonight.
Oh, that's the idea. We want you to go to the movie with us.
Chico could never remember his lines. And we'd come in, one of the first shows, we came in all together, and he'd say, "Hiya, Andy. Hiya, Joni. Andy, you still are the best-looking boy in school." And I'd say, "Oh, Chico."
Hey, honey, what are you going to wear for Easter?
Anything that you get for me.
Oh, you better wear more than that.
I saw one of them the other day, and I thought, my God, that's the worst thing I have ever seen. It just was terrible. How I ever got anything after that, I don't know.
After the demise of the College Bowl, Andy rejoined his brothers and Kay Thompson for another 2 years on the road. But television was killing nightclub attendance. Audiences were staying home to be entertained.
We had gone as far as we could go. There was no place to go, and everybody felt that it was just treading water, I guess, and that we all needed to go our own way.
In 1952, Andy found himself cast adrift. He moved to New York and developed a solo act.
And Kay did all of my material. I mean, she wrote out what songs to sing and how to do them and pattern a little dance. So she helped me a great deal that way. I was scared, yeah. I still miss my brothers, to tell you the truth. I miss that, you know, being out there all alone. Sometimes I'd come out and the lights wouldn't focus right. One time I came out, there's no lights. They're hitting everywhere else but on me, you know. And people would get up and dance when I'm singing, you know, and I'm doing my act. You know, I'm not a band singer, I'm doing my act. You feel despaired, you know, you feel like, geez, this isn't what I was thinking it was going to be, but what else am I going to do? Where else am I going to go? I'll stick this out until it kills me, I guess.
He obviously got through it fine, but Andy was very focused. He knew where he wanted to go, what he wanted to do.
For 2 years, Andy crisscrossed the country, staying at small hotels and performing in clubs for a percentage of the take. If no one came, he didn't get paid.
I was desperate. I wasn't ambitious. I was just thinking about how I'm going to, you know, eat. And I remember at one time I had 2 dogs, and I ate Alpo for a couple days. It's not bad. Alpo is pretty good. In fact, that's the best dog food that I found, was Alpo. Had nice big chunks in it, and gravy. And
Andy was desperate to get back to the high-profile venues he'd played with Kay Thompson and the Williams brothers. So he returned to New York and rolled the dice. For 2 years, Andy Williams toured the country, struggling to be accepted on his own merits. In early 1954, determined to make an impression on radio and television people, Andy took far less money to perform at the Blue Angel, one of New York's most prestigious clubs. His opening night was truly the start of something big.
Just happened that, as often is the case in show business, and I guess other divisions of life, Andy had been seen in action and very favorably impressed Bill Harbeck, our producer.
he said, we're auditioning for the Steve Allen Tonight Show. And I said, who is Steve Allen?
Bill said, I discovered a bright young fellow, and I'd like you to see him.
He said, well, we have 2 singers, Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet, and we're looking for 2 others. So I went down and I sang for Steve. And
I immediately said, great choice, sign him up, I love his work.
I was nervous as could be. I was scared all the time I was doing it. But I got over that.